It's October, and I feel like the whole world has finally slowed down just a little. The air feels crisp, the evenings come earlier, and there's something about this season that makes me want to stay inside with a warm drink, light a candle, and draw. Today I wanted to invite you into that feeling with me, because I've been working on something simple, cozy, and these doodles that I think that you will love and will really help to calm your mind as much as they've been calming mine. Doodling has been giving me so much space to breathe, reset, and enjoy the process without worrying about too much perfection or outcomes. So let's settle into this coziness of October together. Grab a pencil or whatever art supplies that you need. I always start my doodles in pencil. There's something comforting about knowing that I can erase if I need to. The pencil stage is where I let myself be loose, not worrying about whether or not the lines are straight or if the shapes are perfect. Autumn doodles especially, because they're meant to feel organic and natural, like they were plucked straight from nature. If you're doodling along with me, try to think of simple shapes first instead of stressing over detail. Break everything down into circles, ovals, curves. The beauty of doodling is that it doesn't need to be realistic. It's more about capturing a feeling. This part always reminds me that creativity doesn't have to start big. It can start small with light strokes on paper and just getting the ideas down. And sometimes that's enough just to shift my mood from busy and overwhelmed to calm and present. Before I move on to the next part of this video, I want to pause and share something with you. If you've been listening so far and thinking, I want to doodle more, but I just don't know where to start, or I feel like I've lost my spark, then I have something that might help. I created a free guide called the 7-Day Creative Reset Challenge. It's designed to help you gently get back into creativity without pressure, just small calming exercises each day to rebuild your confidence and joy in making art. So, if you're curious, click the link in the description or the pinned comment below so that you can download it. I think it could be exactly what you need if you've been feeling super stuck or uninspired. So here you can see I'm being really loose. I'm drawing a leaf, or rather a stem with leaves, and I'm just being loose, drawing little lines, little curves around those lines. And you can be super loose, and you don't need to be too precious about this pencil stage. Once you're happy with the shapes, I move on with my marker. This part always feels like commitment because once the line is down, it stays. But that's kind of what I love about it. It's a reminder that art isn't about perfection, it's about expression. If you're following along, you don't need any special markers. A simple black pen or fine liner works. I'm using an acrylic black marker. And don't worry if your lines wobble or if they overlap. That handmade imperfection is what makes the doodles feel warm and approachable. And honestly, I think that's what people respond to most in art. Not the polished, intimidating perfection, but something human, something that they can connect with. So don't feel worried about how it's wonky. Like, you can see that I'm leaving some parts open as I'm going over this little pumpkin shape, and I'm just leaving some gaps. I'm holding it loosely at the top of the pen. As you can see here, I'm not holding it tightly, I'm just holding it very loosely and doing these wibbly wobbly lines, and I'm just being super loose with it, not following it exactly, and just making it really rough. You can see, just being so loose, and that's how I want you to be when you are doing these doodles. And then just going in and then adding little details and just not always going all the way around. Now I'm just erasing the pencil line because we don't need it. It's important to let your pen dry before doing the eraser because you don't want it to smudge. So just erasing those lines away. Now on to the favorite part, watercolor. I love how unpredictable watercolor can be. You can put down a little color, it spreads, it blends, it surprises you. It's like a collaboration between you and the paint. For these doodles, I kept the palette soft, earthy, warm oranges, muted greens, cozy browns. They feel like October on paper. And if you're new to watercolor, here's my tip. Don't fight the paint. Let it do its thing. The beauty comes from flow, the blending, the way the colors bleed into each other. You don't need total control to create something beautiful. While I'm painting, I've been thinking a lot about where I want my art to live beyond just my sketchbook. And to be honest with you, I'm still figuring it out. There are many options. I've been thinking of print on demand. I've been seeing lots of people using it, which is convenient, but I feel like it could be quite distant. And then printing and selling on my own, which is very personal but takes so much time and investment. And eventually going into wholesale, which feels exciting but also really intimidating. And then art licensing, which has been on my mind a lot. The idea of seeing my work on products in shops feels like a dream, but it's a process that I'm still learning about. And I'd love to know your thoughts as someone who enjoys art. What would you be most excited about? Would you rather buy prints directly from me? See my work on everyday products you could just pick up in a store, or getting print on demand products? This is one of the things I love about having this community, is that I don't feel like I have to make the decisions alone. And you're part of the journey, and I value your feedback more than you know. Now, back to the doodles. What I love about them is that they remind me that creativity doesn't always have to be this big, serious thing. It can be simple, it can be quick, it can be just for you. Sometimes I put pressure on myself to always make something useful or shareable, and that takes away from the joy. But when I sit down and doodle without expectation, I find my creativity flows much easier. I want you to think of your doodles as little pauses in the day, moments of calm. They don't need to end up in a gallery. They don't even need to become a product. They just need to exist because they bring you joy. Speaking of joy, I've been toying with the idea of starting up a small monthly creative challenge. Something simple, seasonal, cozy, like these doodles, here on YouTube. Nothing overwhelming, just a few prompts to help us slow down and draw together. I'd love to know if that's something you'd be interested in. Would you like me to create a printable pages that you can follow along with, or would you rather just join a live stream where we doodle together? Community projects like this lighten me up, because I know so many of us crave that accountability and connection. Art doesn't have to be solitary, it can be shared. After painting, I usually like to step back and just have a think about how these doodles could live beyond my sketchbook. Sometimes I scan them in, sometimes I turn them into digital patterns, and sometimes I just leave them in my sketchbook or on a piece of paper. And this is where I get curious about the business side again. Should these doodles become prints? Should they become stickers? Should I bundle them into a seasonal book or a coloring book, or maybe pitch them for art licensing? This is where I really love your feedback. What would you like to see these doodles become, really? And as I finish up today's doodles, I just want you to remind you that art doesn't need to be perfect. And these doodles are simple, they're imperfect, and they carry with them a feeling, a calmness that I hope you have felt whilst watching this. And if you've picked up your pencil or brush and joined me, I hope you've also felt that spark of creativity and that joy that feels like you're playing. Now, at this point of the video, you might be wondering, okay, I've loved this cozy doodle session, but how can I take my creativity even further? How can I keep building this into a habit? And that's why your next step is to join my coffee art club. Inside, you'll get behind the scenes, sneak peeks at my sketchbook, mood boards and works in process, exclusive Ko-fi only updates, creative thoughts that I don't share anywhere else, a monthly printable coloring page, a themed creative challenge every single month, completed with guided prompts, reference photos and a checklist, and a monthly lesson where I walk you through drawing the drawing challenge and access to our community. It's like a little cozy art club, a space just for us to connect more deeply and create together. If that sounds like something that you'd love, make sure to click below and join. I'd love to welcome you in. It would be something that I would truly enjoy, inviting you into my space. And thank you so much for spending this cozy October moment with me. I hope these autumn doodles brought you a little bit of calm, maybe inspired you to pick up your own pen, brush, or pencil. And remember that creativity doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes it's as simple as doodling a few seasonal shapes with leaves and different items around you.